It's now time for the Coaches Show on News Talk 1250 KBRF and KBRFradio.com, presented by the Viking Cafe and brought to you by the Minnesota Motor Company, Lake Region Healthcare, Nelson Auto Center, Quality Toyota, and by Running Stitches. Now for the Coaches Show presented by the Viking Cafe, here's Craig Olson.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the program. It's Saturday morning, and it's the middle of the winter. I'm sure you realize that with the cold snap that we're in right now. And what happens in the middle of the winter is we really just kind of hunker down, right? And don't go anywhere and don't do anything, right? No, wrong. This is Minnesota. We're busy in the winter, and today is no exception. A lot of stuff going on, and on our Coaches Show today, you're going to find out all about it. And we're going to start with hockey, and this guy's going to be very well-traveled over the next week plus because the Otter Boys hockey team, and this is Mike Donahue, their head coach, is going to be playing a lot of games between now and a week from Monday. I mean, Mike, and you've been coaching a long time, over 20 years here. You played a lot of hockey growing up and through college. Have you ever had a stretch of games like the Otters are about to embark on?
I don't think that I have when you look at the schedule and how Mother Nature's forced us into this. But we had one of our few practices we'll have coming up yesterday and just told the kids you sign up to play hockey, not practice hockey. So you're going to have your chance here. And got a couple ways, I guess, you can get in shape. You can get in shape in practice or get in shape during games. So going to embrace the opportunity. There will be a lot of changes, I think, made on the fly. And it'll be a good challenge for the kids, good challenge for the coaches.
Yes, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Monday. That's the stretch there, like 6 games in 9 days. How does that affect you, when you don't have those practices and you're in the middle of a stretch where you've got a lot of sickness going through the team, you don't know who you're going to have every day, it seems, who's going to be healthy on the bench for you. How does that really affect you for prep from game to game?
Well, it's going to be a matter of trying to keep the kids good nutrition, good hydration. We understand there's going to be some fatigue and some of those things setting in. I think the other thing you look at is you mentioned the time we've been doing this. We've got a lot of film at our disposal. So I think that being able to have that ability for film, from our guys and what we're trying to accomplish and what we can show them that went well and things we need to clean up, as well as other teams, it gives you a scouting opportunity to break down and see what they're doing. So, instead of, I think, just the being on the ice and practicing those things, it'll probably be a lot more film session and kind of looking at our game from that aspect instead of just working on it on the ice. And, it can be a challenge too. You're looking at something just on a monitor and you're going to try to make some adjustments there without actually practicing and walking through it. Can present challenges in itself, but as we've done that throughout the season, it's no different than making a little adjustment in the intermission of a game.
Right.
Start of a game, we always try to make some small few tweaks. It's nothing that needs to be earth-shattering, but just little changes in your game that you hope that develop some hockey sense, hockey IQ, and give the kids a chance to go out and execute it.
You mentioned the fatigue factor. And when you have that many games in a short period of time, it's going to definitely be there, especially by games 4 and 5 and 6. But how does that affect you as far as what you do managing shift time? The ice time out there. Are you shortening shifts up? Are you working 4 lines instead of 3 if you can in some situations? Or how do you approach that?
Yeah, I think that's something that we'll monitor, I think, as a coaching staff as we work through the week and discussions with the players and seeing how they're feeling, how their legs are, how their head is, who's healthy, who's not healthy. We've rotated a lot of different players, I think, through our lineup throughout the year. So as we look at that, we know that we can lean on some kids that have been in the position. They've seen varsity minutes. So we practice a lot together, so all the players know expectations and what their role needs to be when they hit the ice and what's expected of them. So as I look at a few of those things that we've worked on throughout the year, putting those players in those positions. Hopefully that shows a benefit throughout this week.
Well, and you've got the JV games going too on these days, so it's not like you can say, well, the JV guys they're all available if we need them for varsity, because they've got to skate too. So that's another part of it you have to manage, right? As far as who we're going to need today from the JV team to step in and help us out.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's, like I mentioned, there's guys who've been rotating in and out of there. There's some other guys that are right on that edge of maybe they get some minutes here in the next 6 games, depending how things go. You can play 4 periods a day, and if you start getting a kid 4 periods, there's a couple extra games in this little window of opportunity too for some players. So I think first thing we're going to just hope our kids get healthy. There's supposed to be, I think, 4 of them coming back Monday from sickness, so that will be real welcoming. Mm-hmm. As long as we keep the rest of them healthy between now and Monday, and we'll just have to take each day as it comes.
How about goalie? I mean, Holden Stenstrom's been a rock for you in that varsity net. Do you do anything to give Holden a day off in this 6-game stretch? Or you just say, hey, strap it on, and you're the guy, we're going to ride you?
We'll just, I think, again, just visiting day to day, game to game, see how Holdy's doing, how he's holding up. And when we do have a practice on Wednesday again, we'll just touch base with the guys and see what we really need to try to accomplish that day. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of collaboration with the coaches, a lot of collaboration with the players, especially. They're going to have to be the ones, I think, on the forefront of this with how they're doing.
Well, we have to keep Mark Johnson healthy too. That's the main key, right? He's got to bring us all the games. So Holden last Saturday did not allow a goal. That's always a good thing. It means you're going to win most of those games anyway, or play a scoreless tie. But Thief River was in town. You got on the power play a lot. What was going on there? 10 power play opportunities. That's a whole bunch of chances in a hockey game.
Yeah, those games kind of happen once in a while, and it's when the game turns that way, how are your kids going to respond? I think that's always a thing that you as a coach sit back and watch and see what we're going to do. And I thought we responded well. We were tough in the corners, tough on the walls, and we did it the right way. We limited their power play opportunities, and we were able to capitalize on a couple of ours. And we need to continue to, I think, develop and work on our special teams, because with 10, you'd hope to maybe get a couple more than that. Not that we're not appreciative of the ones we were able to put in the back of the net to create some separation for us. But, there's, I think, some things that we can continue to work on and look at.
Tanner Donahue got your first goal on the power play, a one-timer from the point. Are your defensemen, your point guys on the power play, creating a lot of opportunities? Are you encouraging shots from the point? Because that can always wind up with, if it doesn't go in the net, a rebound opportunity.
Yeah, that's always, I think, your main objective is to funnel pucks through the net, get some pucks in the net. We have 2 guys that do a really good job in front. We have Parker Tilke on the one power play unit, Colin Alton on the other power play unit, and those 2 guys stand in there and they take a lot of abuse every single power play, and the way that they can get knocked down, they're right back up, right into their position, and that allows our point guys to be able to get some pucks through, and that's their job. They've done a pretty good job all year of getting pucks past that first layer, and once you can generate something out top, now your penalty kill units are going to have to make an adjustment as they move to take your higher guys away. Then you have some options that you need to start looking at down low. So it's a little cat and mouse game with the penalty kill adjust and take your high guys away, and then we got to go low. If they don't, then we'll just keep hammering pucks at the net and hope for the best.
What about rebound opportunities? Are you capitalizing on some of those? Are you getting some of those opportunities out in front of the net?
Yeah, and you look to the next game, River Lakes kind of pops to mind with that. They packed things in. They were a big, strong team that they limited our space to try to get inside and get on those second pucks, and that showed at the end of that game. But generally speaking, we've created some commotion, created some chaos in front of the other team's goalie.
Yeah, after that 3-0 win over Thief, you did come out strong at River Lakes. You scored early took a 1-0 lead, and then their goalie shut you down the rest of the way. But again, not a lot of shots that night. 16, I think, was the final count there. So River Lakes, are they one of the top teams right now?
I don't think so.
No.
But that's a different place to play.
Yes.
The corners are a little tighter. For whatever reason, that puck bounces, and when you're used to trying to make some plays, you take a little offensive risk where maybe the play works or the puck bounces your way. Not a lot of pucks seem to bounce your way, and if you sit and watch how River Lakes plays in their rink, they understand how that sheet of ice plays, and it takes a while for kids to develop change what you've been doing, trying to gain the zone with the puck, trying to maybe make a little extra play. And it's hard to just switch. You're 15 games into the season trying to do one thing, and then, you know what, guys, this just doesn't work. And then trying to change that mindset. That's difficult throughout a game to change that habit. And we turned over a lot of pucks, and River Lakes is just able to get pucks in and go to work.
Caden Zender got your goal that night. Parker Tilke assisted on that goal. Those two guys seem to consistently be producing points for you and creating opportunities. Yeah,
and that was what we tried to tell the guys, keep the game simple. And it started with the D-zone face-off, and Parker was able to leak through, and he underhandled the puck the whole way up the ice. We watched that in film the other day when we had nothing else to do on Thursday. But, you talk driving hard in the net. Parker just drives wide, underhandles the puck, and he just funneled that thing into the net, and Caden's stick is on the ice. So nothing magical, nothing earth-shattering. It's just good, simple, hard hockey, making good plays and right decisions and things that we try to focus on as a hockey team.
You know, the previous game, the game against Thief, Luke Johnson had a couple of assists for you, and Luke seems to be really good at finding people, setting them up.
Yeah, he's slippery out there. He's got a motor that doesn't quit, and if Lukey has a puck and I was one of his wings, I'd look at a way to try to get to the net, because somehow he's gonna find a way to get the puck there, and if it's not him getting the puck there, he's moving it to somebody, and then the puck's gonna be there in a hurry. So, trying to understand your line mate's strengths, your line mate's weaknesses. What's he going to do with the puck, and and what can I do as a line mate to help him out in certain situations.
Well, and Chase Johnson got a power play goal for you. He seems to be involved in the scoring a lot recently too.
Yeah, he's really elevated his game the second part of the year since our Christmas break, and he's just a ninth grader. And then, one of the coaches was talking to him the other day, and, talking about driving and getting here. He says, "Coach, I'm just 14 years old." But so that's, another thing. You're used to dealing with these high school kids, and then that reality that he's just 14. Yep. So he's got a lot of growth ahead of him. And if he can continue to work and develop that way he has through this first part of our season, we're really excited about his future.
Crookston today, the Otters are hitting the road here. 3:30 face-off time after a couple of jugglings of the time there. Mark Johnson will have it on 977. Then you got that makeup game at Brainerd on Monday, and you go to DL on Tuesday. So the first half of this 6-game stretch, they're all on the road. Great.
We've had a long stretch of home games, so we knew this little road stretch was coming. We hoped it would have been spaced out a little bit more, but that's the way it goes.
It is what it is, right? Yeah. All right, Mike, we'll let Mark talk to you more about Crookston on the pregame today. And again, you can catch that on 977 FM and streaming, of course, through the Fergus Now app and the KBRF YouTube channel, just like this Coaches Show is. Mike Donahue, head coach of the Otter Boys hockey team, he's got to catch a bus. So thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend.
All right. Viking Cafe gives away a $25 gift certificate every week on our Coaches Show. You can text the keyword Viking to 321-1926 for your chance to win in that drawing. That's 321-1926. All right, we'll take a break. Matt Johnson's here to talk Otter Boys basketball after the break as our Coaches Show continues, presented by the Viking Cafe.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Just when you thought the deals were done, Minnesota Motor Company is keeping the savings rolling. They may have moved the vehicles back outside, but they've extended their indoor sales savings through the end of January. Shop in confidence and drive away in a great vehicle at a great price. Stop by the dealership or contact the sales team to learn more about the great deals.
Minnesota Motor.
South Pebble Lake Road, Fergus Falls.
Lake Region Healthcare knows what all coaches know. It takes tons of teamwork, great amounts of grit, and heaps of hustle to triumph. Lake Region Healthcare, supporting and celebrating our high school athletes.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls is proud to sponsor area athletics. Nelson Auto knows the value of a good team, and we'd like to invite you in to meet our team. See how our team takes care of you and your family. Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls.
Running Stitches Embroidery in Fergus Falls is West Central Minnesota's leader in high-quality screen printing and custom embroidery. Whether you're looking for a one-of-a-kind custom job or need to outfit the entire team, Running Stitches Embroidery will be there when you need them.
What's your number?
I drove 60 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota. I drove 45 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota.
Quality Toyota.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Welcome back to the program. We're talking Otter boys basketball. Matt Johnson is here with us, head coach of the Otters. It was an interesting week, only one game because, well, we had the weather interrupt us again a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, the big bummer there, Matt, not only do you not get to play a game, but you can't practice when school is closed. And I guess we didn't have that problem, though, did we?
No, we were able to or could have on Thursday. So our reschedule is for February 2nd, Monday. Which was ironically the one we always try to plan a day that you're going to give kids rest kind of down the home stretch. And when you look at our games, we have a lot of Tuesday, Thursday weeks coming up, and so it's hard to give a day off on those. You feel like you're always needing to prep for the next thing, and so we the week of the 2nd, we only had games Thursday, Saturday, and so that Monday was a day we would have taken off. Now we have a game scheduled there. And so we gave our kids Thursday off when that game was canceled. We did practice yesterday to get together, prep a little bit for Bemidji today.
Yeah, Bemidji's coming in. That's over at Roosevelt today at 2:30 varsity start. So we'll have Jason Retzloff over there. We'll be doing the video stream, too, on the KBRF YouTube channel and the Fergus Now app, and it's on News Talk 1250 KBRF on the radio. And you're coming off a great win. It's always great when you beat Moorhead. I don't care what year it is or if we're in their same section or not. Like, we used to have some tremendous battles, but to take the lead that you did, 35-19 against Moorhead at halftime, that's awesome. But now you got to hold it, right? And the Spuds are going to come at you. But your guys did a great job. Was that the most complete game you played this year?
Yeah, I was really impressed with our guys, start to finish. In terms of attention to detail, executing a game plan. We've had a lot of really good moments, but this was an opportunity for us to have another new moment, which, right, you're up 16 at the half and feeling really good about how you're playing, how you're rolling, and now what, right? And there's always a fine line if you want to play really smart and methodical without being stagnant and passive. And I thought our guys did a really good job of that. The way we started the second half, we really came out of the gates, executed well, and I think we started on an 8-0 run. At one point, we led by 27, I think was the biggest the lead got. So we stretched it. I thought we were aggressive, defended, rebounded. Really was a really nice team effort. I thought everybody was giving a lot of the little plays, right? The hustling after a long rebound, the box out, contesting a shooter. We were really dialed in, and so it's fun to see that lead grow. And then I think they shrunk it down a little bit, and our guys were able to respond, knock down enough free throws, and take care of the ball well enough. Was like you said, you don't get a lot of opportunities to beat Moorhead.
Yeah.
They're a school that's 3 times our size, maybe a little bit more than that. I think they're pushing 2,400 kids in their building,
Wow.
right? And so they just have the number of athletes that they put on the floor. It can be impressive. And I thought our kids, we've gained confidence over the last couple of weeks, and we've tried to instill that in them all year, that they've been doing the right thing, and they show up and they prepare the right way. And it's all a process, right? Coach cliche speak.
Yep.
But it really is. And you gain confidence through that. We've really, I think, formed an identity of what we want to do on the offensive end of the floor, and been really fun to watch that. But yeah, that's a confidence builder. A really good, fun game for our kids, and beating Moorhead always means something. Maybe not the same as when I grew up.
Right.
Maybe not the rivalry it was, but it's certainly a meaningful game.
Yeah, 70-54. So you did maintain that 16-point lead. The Otters get a big win over the Moorhead Spuds. You mentioned the process, and that is coach speak, obviously, but it's good coach speak. That's a good reminder, every year to your kids, that just enjoy the process. It's more than the games. It's more than the practices. It's a lot of things together that create the process of being part of a team.
Yeah, it's a real thing, and it may sound cheesy or coach speak,
Right.
but there's a reality. This team is a family that gets to do this one time,
Right.
and it's a really good platform to teach kids about more than the game.
Yep.
That you're going to go through life, and some stretches of life are really easy and come easy, and wins happen in whatever facet that is: job, family, relationships. And then there's stretches of life that are going to be really hard.
Right.
And you got to figure out how you're going to handle adversity, and are you going to stay the course? Are you going to jump ship? Are you going to invest more into it? And it's been really fun to watch our kids, because they've handled any stretch of adversity with such focus and poise, and maybe just relentless effort and togetherness, right? So you look at what defines this team. Well, man, they're workers that enjoy that process. They don't fear the failure, right? Because that's part of it. You're not going to win it every game. It just doesn't happen. And so it's been really fun. I've been really proud of them. I've told you over and over, it's just an easy group to coach.
Right.
And that's been through wins. It's been through losses. And the reward for their efforts is that now you see some of that translate into a win column, which feels good, right?
Yeah.
Wins in life feel good.
Absolutely.
And you get to enjoy those and embrace those and continue to build off of those, and still takeaways there. There's still things against Moorhead that we didn't do well enough. And so we aren't done working by any stretch of the imagination, and makes coaching this group really easy.
And coaches are really good at that, folks, finding the one thing that was bad in that game, right?
Watch the game over enough times, you'll find something.
We'll work on that one. Yeah, that's okay. That's good. Really makes you examine things closely. I think about what you just said and how you explained that process so well, and you've had to deal with that. Trenton Drouillard went out, I don't know how many games ago now, a long time ago. You played more games without him than you did with him.
Game 3 of the year.
Yeah.
Yep.
So these guys had to, adjust. And like you said, we can just throw in the towel or lose a key guy. And, but these guys have really made it work. And what that means is when Trenton comes back, and hopefully it's soon.
Yeah. He's out of his boot. So now it's just a process of getting back to where he's able to confidently play. So it'll be a little bit still, but he's working really hard. He's chomping at the bit.
Yeah, I bet.
He's a little bit like a caged animal right now. Just coach, no, you can't. No, sit down,
relax.
No, yeah.
Well, when he does come back, though, he'll be coming back to a whole different team in one respect, in that these guys who have had to step up and fill different roles and be out there in different situations have grown so much, I would think, in their confidence and what they can bring to this team.
Yeah, our depth for sure has increased. Even early, we were really playing 6 guys, 7 a little, I suppose. And we were trying to figure out who that was. And Eli Fullhart has really stepped up. Cam Wiedrich expanded his role, and all of our starters have really, really increased their output as well. I was looking this morning. We have 4 guys, and if you include Trenton, who did through the first 2 days, we have 4 guys averaging double figures. If you include Trenton, we're at 5, which is a pretty impressive stat. That we're a well-rounded team. Everybody has increased a little bit in what they're doing. I think rebounding was the biggest area when Trenton went down. That you saw it was the DL game, and we got our butts kicked on the glass in a way that I'm not sure we've ever had a team maybe get drilled on that in that facet of the game. And so you start having conversations with guys, and Eli Fullhart really. Jacob Jentz, those 2, but our guards also just really stepped up in that area. And so it's fun to see kids take on an expanded role. We're excited to get Trenton back because I think that makes us a better team. And he'll not necessarily have the pressure on him to day one have to do more than he's ready for.
Right.
So it'll be fun. Another opportunity for us to figure some things out.
And that team rebounding was key against the Spuds, as was your defense. I mean, holding anybody to 54 points, you're going to have a really good shot to win.
Yeah, that's a really talented team. At the beginning of the year, when we looked at the schedule and you look and you say, okay, Alexandria will be a really tough one. Morehead's the other one that'll be a really tough one.
Yep.
The athletes they put on the floor are just really talented athletes that have had a lot of success across multiple sports. And so there's other games that are going to be tough too, but those are probably 2 that I would have circled and said if we can get one of those, we've played really well.
Yep.
Because it's going to require that of you, and so to beat them in the fashion we did is a credit to our kids. I think at the time the Star Tribune had Morehead ranked. They do a ranking of across all classes, a top 25. I think they had Morehead at number 17 across any class. So you're looking at a top 10 4A team that you really controlled the entire game. So pretty fun to have those wins under your belt.
Doesn't hurt the QRF either.
Not at all.
Oh.
And that'll be a big deal as we go down the stretch here. We're a 9-team section, so the number of teams 8 and 9 will end up having a play-in game, and it's been Little Falls, Rocori, and us in that 7, 8, 9 in some order or another. Tech is right above us there in the 6th spot. So those are games that really matter, and if you can stretch your QRF to expand so there's no tie breaks to worry about, you're trying to climb all the time. The top 4 teams will get home games. High seed gets home even all the way through the section final this year, which is different.
Yep.
And so trying to climb that QRF ladder in your section is really important for seeding.
Eston Bethel led you again against Morehead. He had 20. Jacob Jentz had 16. He's just played so well for you. And then Nolan Feldstuhl got his 11, and a dangerous 3-point shooter there. That's a pretty good 1-2-3 punch, and they're not alone. You had 2 guys with 9 points that night, too. Micah and Cam each had 9. So you've got a lot of tough guys out there as far as defending offensive output, for the opposing team.
Yeah, I think you look at that, and Jacob, we've started to play through him a little bit more, just a different way to attack and get some paint touches. I'm not sure I've had a post with as good a footwork as what Jacob has had in a really long time, and he's worked really hard at it. But a guy that's really, really talented at whether he catches at the mid or high post and attacking, spinning, shot faking. There's a little bit of Ryan Retzloff to his game once he gets under the rim, where he's just going to pivot until you're out of position just enough, and he's probably going to get an and one out of the deal. So it's been fun to watch his game expand and develop, and our kids recognize how to use him. That's been one of the focuses we've had the last couple days in practice. Pee-wee, right? He's a really talented kid. He shot the ball well this year, but really, if he can get downhill, he creates for himself and others at such a high clip. And then Nolan is an elite shooter, probably the quickest release of any shooter that we've had in recent times. Doesn't need much space, gets his feet under him, and he shoots at a high clip at high volume, which is not easy to do when teams know that's the one thing you do best. And then, Micah is one too, who I thought early in the year was really trying to figure out how he fit. He's been the ultimate consummate role player for 3 years. And now we're saying, hey, can can you do a little bit more? And you don't need to do everything, but a little more. And he wants to, right? He's a senior that's put the time in. And I feel like he's really settled into understanding how to get his offense rolling too, whether that's creating for himself or others. I think he's done a really nice job of understanding the game's maybe slowed down for him in the last week or two. And so I think his offensive numbers and output is going to just continue to increase. So you talk about those 4 guys all averaging double figures.
Yeah.
And then kids like Eli and Cam on any given night are capable of giving you 10, 12 points as well. It becomes a pretty efficient offense.
Bemidji today, 2:30 at Roosevelt. I'll let Jason ask you more about them on the pregame today. So.
Sounds good. We'll have our hands full. A lot of seniors. A Boshi and a Reaver there that are pretty talented kids.
Okay. Well, you started building something with Moorhead. Let's keep it rolling, right? All right.
Yep.
Matt Johnson, head coach of the Otter Boys basketball team, joining us. And remember to text the keyword Viking to 321-1926 for a chance to win a $25 gift certificate from the Viking Cafe. And don't go away. More to come on the Coaches Show presented by the Viking Cafe.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Just when you thought the deals were done, Minnesota Motor Company is keeping the savings rolling. They may have moved the vehicles back outside, but they've extended their indoor sales savings through the end of January. Shop in confidence and drive away in a great vehicle at a great price. Stop by the dealership or contact the sales team to learn more about the great deals.
Minnesota Motor.
South Pebble Lake Road, Fergus Falls.
Lake Region Healthcare knows what all coaches know. It takes tons of teamwork, great amounts of grit, and heaps of hustle to triumph. Lake Region Healthcare, supporting and celebrating our high school athletes.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls is proud to sponsor area athletics. Nelson Auto knows the value of a good team, and we'd like to invite you in to meet our team. See how our team takes care of you and your family. Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls.
Running Stitches Embroidery in Fergus Falls is West Central Minnesota's leader in high-quality screen printing and custom embroidery. Whether you're looking for a one-of-a-kind custom job or need to outfit the entire team, Running Stitches Embroidery will be there when you need them.
What's your number?
I drove 60 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota. I drove 45 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota.
Quality Toyota.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Welcome back to the program. We're talking Otter Nordic skiing. Josh Scharnberg is with us, and good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Hasn't been the greatest skiing weather lately. The temps, there are certain things you have to watch out there when you're doing the skiing, right?
Yeah, there's two types of squeaky snow that makes for really slow skiing, and that's when the weather's really warm and the weather's really cold. Both ways, it's very difficult to get some speed under you. It's fun.
I always hate to see it when one of your meets is canceled because you usually don't get them made up, and you have so few anyway, and the season is a short one, of course. And but how do you handle that when you have a whole week? It will actually be like 2 weeks between your meets.
I mean, it's really only been a couple of days since we've been on the snow, so we still fit in practice when we can. We go pretty cold with the kids, but once you get down below like -5 or so and throw some wind in, it's just kind of not safe and pointless to be out on the snow anyway. But I actually look at it as a blessing. Sometimes with these endurance sports, you get out on the snow and working out so much that kids actually start to lose a little bit of muscle mass at the end of the season. And so it's a chance for us to hit the gym and lift some weights and do some strength and conditioning kind of stuff to keep our kids, fit coming into the end of the season. It works out well.
A lot of sports use video to talk about technique and all that. Do you use video in your instruction?
Yeah, Not as much as we probably could. Part of it is because when I've tried in the past, you're out there with really cold fingers, and also like the phone or iPad just kind of freeze up and it just doesn't work as great as you can. But I like to take these pictures on my phone that capture the live image. And that's been very useful. You can show a kid, just hold down the button and say, hey, look at what's happening with your technique right here. And sure enough, it's a great way for kids to get a look at themselves.
Now, not this past week, but the prior week, you had your home meet at Speedall's.
Yes. Yeah.
And I know in your write-up for my website and for the publication, you talked about Speedall's and the history there. And why don't you share a little bit of that and the importance that David and Cindy have brought to the sport?
Yeah, his dad has been, he's the one that kind of really, I shouldn't say he brought skiing here, but he's one of the folks who've made skiing very possible and very public here in our local area. Yeah, Walter, exactly right. They were out downhill skiing and cross country skiing out at the Maplewood on the Holloway Hill years ago. Roosevelt Hill was a ski hill for a long time, and all of that is tied to the Speedall family. In the early 70s, the Speedalls, Walter bought the ski farm, as they call it, and some of the neighbors got on board and allowed them to groom trails out there. And of course, David and Cindy took over eventually. And so now this year, we're at 50 years of skiing out at Speedall's Ski Guard.
Wow,
that's
awesome.
Yeah, they're incredible people, too, just so warm and welcoming and excited to get anybody out there on the snow and pass on tradition and heritage. And
Well, we used to have David on this show occasionally when he was coaching the team. So
yeah, absolutely. Bring him back sometime.
Yeah, right. He's got a lot of history. That's for sure.
Better speaker than I am. So
well, and you've got to be excited, Josh, because of the number of kids you have competing right now. What are your numbers at right now?
Yeah, we're a little bit low this year. We're at 36 athletes. Last 2 years, we've graduated 12 seniors, and so losing 24 kids just like that is. It's a little hard to replenish from our young kids program where they move from the Minnesota Youth Ski League into 7th grade ski team. So but it'll happen. We'll be patient. That's just kind of the course for a smaller school like ours.
Yeah, still seems like a pretty good number to me though to have 36. That's
for sure. We're very thankful, and they're 36 of some of the best kids in the town.
There you go. And let's talk about your girls because they've been just outstanding. I mean, they've been, I don't know how many meets you've won, if you won them all as a team or not,
it's been all of them.
Every one of them, and Estee Versteeg has been right there in the top.
Yeah, first place every
meet.
Yeah, she's, all of them are just so strong and ready to go for the championship season coming up here.
And they push each other, I'm sure, right?
They do.
Support each other.
They push each other. They support each other. They laugh and have so much fun with each other. And I think that's probably just part of the culture they've built around the team and makes people want to be part of it.
Well, Cassie Wellman and Allie Bradenberg and Evie Versteeg and the McCon girls, you're seeing a lot of names there that have been doing this for a few years now for you. They've been a pretty good part of this team for a few years.
Yeah, and we better not forget Lydia Ugarud, too. She's right in there on the varsity team. And then this year, Olivia Budke's been a younger skier who's been really pushing into the varsity squad there.
And success breeds success, they say, right?
That's
and some of these younger girls are seeing this and hopefully will, follow in their, their example.
I really hope so. I have some 9th grade girls and, some of those juniors that you just mentioned that will be back next year. And I think we're going to have a real strong girls team for a few years to come here.
Are there opportunities, you mentioned graduating the seniors last year, are there opportunities beyond high school for skiers at the collegiate level, or what is out there?
Yeah, there's plenty of opportunities. A lot of it is club teams when you're near to us, but there's some universities closer by, like St. Cloud State University has both men's and women's NCAA team. Otherwise, you're heading out to places like Colorado or out to Michigan Tech, for the teams the colleges that have the NCAA teams. Yeah.
I know David Ronovic, is he still competing?
He is still competing, but that one's not related to a school. It's more of sort of a semi-pro team.
So that's out there too.
Yeah, and that's really quite big time. They have a couple of skiers, I forget their names, that are going to be in the Olympics this year, and right straight from Team Berkey. And so that's what David's striving for and still hoping for.
That's pretty exciting too. How about the boys program right now? Would you assess what their season has been like?
Yeah, we have a couple of strong skiers, a few strong skiers this year. Micah Mosier, Noah Schlosser, Eric Swanson, Ian Stanley. Those first three guys that I talked about have been pretty consistent, placing the top 20. And I think that's going to be huge for our team coming into the postseason here. And I'm excited for Ian Stanley too. I mean, this is a guy that he just started skiing with us 2 years ago and is just doing an excellent job at the varsity level and just figuring out every single time how hard he can push himself. And then coming up next week, we're going to have Trygve Ranovic and Brody Nelson, who are going to fill in for a relay team for us. So we haven't had a chance to score as a boys team this year. And so with those two on the relay and those gents that I just mentioned, I think they're going to surprise themselves and place pretty high at the conference championship coming up on Tuesday.
So you're at conference championship meet already. And what follows that? Are you then into your section?
Yep, conference, and then following Tuesday, section championship up at Maple Log. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I know.
It's coming fast.
It's coming really fast. Yeah.
So when you see the success you've had on the girls' side, especially here, what are the goals as you reach this postseason? I mean, if you haven't lost a meet, it would seem to me like there's some pretty high goals or expectations right now.
Yeah, I don't know if I would define them as expectations, but just this idea that these girls have worked long and hard, not just during the season, but their other sports over the summer, lifting weights, putting in the miles, and they're just ready for it. And that's kind of the mentality we're going with. And then, of course, just having fun. I know there's this extra pressure that they put on themselves at the postseason here, but just if you're having fun out there on the course, everything's going to click together in the way you need it to. And so we try to build it more around those two things instead of the expectation you have to get this place or you have to place in this way. Just takes the pressure off, and not only that, but we're a high school team, and so winning is a fun thing, but it's also not one of our top priorities.
Our theme this morning has been enjoying the process, Josh, and that's what Matt and I were talking about earlier, and that's the truth. I mean, you can enjoy the whole process, and if you work together and work hard, the rewards are going to come, right?
That's right, exactly. Placing well at meets is a byproduct of these things. Exactly right.
Yeah. Well, it should be a fun postseason for them, and I'm sure these girls and guys will enjoy what is remaining for them in this season, and we wish them the best. So
absolutely. Thank you.
Appreciate your coming in and talking about your team, and we'll look forward to getting those results and hopefully the weather warms up a little bit, right? Because
I think next week's looking mighty fine for this. Yep, it'll be good.
What is the ideal temperature for?
I think for us coaches, I'd say anywhere between 15 degrees, and this is a weird number, 28 degrees.
Okay.
Excellent snow for speed,
All right, well, that's what we'll hope for.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Josh.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Josh Scharnberg, Otter Nordic ski coach, and he's not alone. Who's working with you this year on the coaching, by the way?
Ben Bradenberg and Matt Mosier. Yeah.
Okay, a couple of good guys I have right there with you, right?
Absolutely. Couldn't do it without them.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a time out. Remember, you can text the keyword Viking to 321-1926 for a chance to win a $25 gift certificate from the Viking Cafe, who present every Saturday during the sports season our Coaches Show. Don't go away.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Just when you thought the deals were done, Minnesota Motor Company is keeping the savings rolling. They may have moved the vehicles back outside, but they've extended their indoor sales savings through the end of January. Shop in confidence and drive away in a great vehicle at a great price. Stop by the dealership or contact the sales team to learn more about the great deals.
Minnesota, Minnesota Motor.
South Pebble Lake Road, Fergus Falls.
Lake Region Healthcare knows what all coaches know. It takes tons of teamwork, great amounts of grit, and heaps of hustle to triumph. Lake Region Healthcare, supporting and celebrating our high school athletes.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls is proud to sponsor area athletics. Nelson Auto knows the value of a good team, and we'd like to invite you in to meet our team. See how our team takes care of you and your family. Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls.
Running Stitches Embroidery in Fergus Falls is West Central Minnesota's leader in high-quality screen printing and custom embroidery. Whether you're looking for a one-of-a-kind custom job or need to outfit the entire team, Running Stitches Embroidery will be there when you need them.
What's your number?
I drove 60 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota. I drove 45 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota.
Quality Toyota.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Welcome back to the show as we are bringing you our weekly coaches show. It goes on for, 6 more weeks. March 7th is the last show. So we'll be here every Saturday from 8 to 9:30 talking with the area coaches and bringing you up to date on what happened in the last week and previewing what's coming up in the coming week. Hopefully, we've had so many postponements this year, and just keeping on top of that has been a real challenge for everybody. But I'll tell you, the activities directors are really earning their pay this year. Not that they don't otherwise, but they're making sure that all these kids have an opportunity to have the events rescheduled that are postponed. And we're trying to stay on top of that as well with all our coverage. We cover a lot of events during the course of the year. Well, as an example, today, Jason Retzloff is going to be over at the Roosevelt Gym where the Otter Boys basketball team has Bemidji coming to town today, and we'll have that on the video stream and on News Talk 1250 KBRF. And Mark Johnson's going to be in Crookston today. There's a 3:30 boys hockey game at Crookston. Mark will have coverage of that one for you, video streaming through the Fergus Now app and the KBRF YouTube channel and on 977 FM. This afternoon as well. So a couple of opportunities for you to follow the Otters today on the video stream and on the radio. And this week is a busy, busy week. We've got 2 events, I think, practically every night except Wednesday. Well, I think we have college basketball Wednesday. So, there's going to be something on our latent media stations in the coming week for sure. Isaac Vatnsdahl is usually here in this spot, and Isaac, I don't see Isaac this morning. So they only had 1 game this week. They were a victim of some of the rescheduling taking place as well. The Otter girls hockey team, they were supposed to go to Brainerd with the boys on Thursday. It was supposed to be a girl-boy doubleheader. That got postponed. So that has now been rescheduled. That game with Brainerd is going to actually be the last regular season game for the Otter girls, and it will be Monday, February 2nd. And then the postseason begins for the girls on the 5th, that Thursday. Although the Otters will, in all likelihood, have a first-round bye. In this section, there are only 5 teams. So teams 1 through 5, the top 3 seeds are getting a first-round bye on the 5th. And then 4 will play 5, and then the semis will continue the postseason the following week. So, the Otters, at least they get a game that week with that rescheduled date. So sometimes the postponement works out, to your benefit. And I think in this case for the Otters girls hockey team, it probably did. The game that they played this week, they wound up winning. They were in Crookston on Monday night, and it was a 3-3 game after 2 periods. And then the Otters scored a pair of third period goals to get the victory. Ella Dirkman scored what proved to be the game winner, with Brinley Harris assisting on that goal, and then Hannah Johnson assisted on the final goal that was scored by Aubrey Nelson with just over a half a minute to go in the game, and the Otters got a 5-3 victory. Avery Tonneson had an unassisted goal at 3:04 of the opening period that gave the Otters a 1-0 lead. Pirates responded. Otters regained the lead when Rachel DeBrito scored a power play goal from Brooks Zierden. Pirates then had unassisted tallies back-to-back that gave them a 3-2 lead, and the Otters got the tying goal with Avery Tonneson getting her second unassisted goal of the night, and that set up that third period, which the Otters won 2-0 and win the game 5-3. Olivia Juergens made 16 saves in the Otter net that night. The Otters are 10-11. And now this week they have Monday, they have Alexandria in town, and we'll have that game from the community arena on News Talk 1250, KBRF, and video streaming through the Fergus Now app and the KBRF YouTube channel. And then on Tuesday on 977 FM and the video stream, Detroit Lakes will be in town to take on the Otter girls. So that's the schedule for Otter girls hockey. And we have a couple more coaches coming up. We're going to be talking girls basketball as Josh Steer will be here shortly to talk about the Otters. They had a nice win last night on the road. They had a busy week. And then Hannah Clark will be in to talk about the Comet girls from Hillcrest. They have a game today. That is a 2:30 game at home against Pelican Rapids for the Hillcrest girls. In fact, they've got a busy week. They've got 4 games coming up. We'll talk more about that with Hannah a little later on in the program. But Josh Steer should be here shortly, so we'll take a time out and visit with Josh about the Otter girls basketball team and their week, as they had 3 games and a couple more coming up this coming week. So we'll look at what the schedule shows after we take a break, and we'll also have the winner of our $25 Viking Cafe gift certificate. So we'll tell you who wins that after this break as well, as we continue the Coaches Show presented by the Viking Cafe.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Just when you thought the deals were done, Minnesota Motor Company is keeping the savings rolling. They may have moved the vehicles back outside, but they've extended their indoor sales savings through the end of January. Shop in confidence and drive away in a great vehicle at a great price. Stop by the dealership or contact the sales team to learn more about the great deals.
Minnesota, Minnesota Motor.
South Pebble Lake Road, Fergus Falls.
Lake Region Healthcare knows what all coaches know. It takes tons of teamwork, great amounts of grit, and heaps of hustle to triumph. Lake Region Healthcare, supporting and celebrating our high school athletes.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls is proud to sponsor area athletics. Nelson Auto knows the value of a good team, and we'd like to invite you in to meet our team. See how our team takes care of you and your family. Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls.
Running Stitches Embroidery in Fergus Falls is West Central Minnesota's leader in high-quality screen printing and custom embroidery. Whether you're looking for a one-of-a-kind custom job or need to outfit the entire team, Running Stitches Embroidery will be there when you need them.
What's your number?
I drove 60 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota. I drove 45 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Welcome back to the program, and congratulations to Kitty Rund. Kitty is a great supporter of kids in anything, and just a wonderful person to have involved in our community. And Kitty's going to enjoy a $25 gift certificate from the Viking Cafe. I think she'll find something she'll like.
I don't think you can go wrong.
No, I think you're right.
The whole menu is wide open, right?
It is, yeah.
No bad choice there.
That's right. And the Viking does this every Saturday, so next week we'll do it again and have another winner. And speaking of winners, last night the Otter girls picked up a win on the road at Sartell. Cold night to take a long bus trip, but it's a little better when you win, right, Josh?
Yeah, that bus ride home's a little warmer when you're coming back with a W, but really just happy to get it in. I heard you were talking on the radio on the drive here that all the reschedules and all that, we've had 4 of our games have been rescheduled, and we're just one sport in the school. So when you start thinking about all those moving pieces, and then you think about their schedule and you look at the remaining calendar, and you're also talking about playoffs for girls hockey starting next week. So we're kind of running out of time. And so for us to get on that bus and to know that we were going to play it was kind of a good feeling, just to say, all right, we know we're going to go down there to Sartell. We kind of knew that on Thursday. They went distance learning for their school day on Friday. We didn't have kids in the building on Friday. So it was kind of like, let's just get on the bus and go play some basketball.
There you go. And it's good basketball, 63-49 for the Otters. And you mentioned, and well, there were 2 other games this week, but I'm just sticking with this one for now. You mentioned last night when we were visiting that it wasn't a complete game, but you're getting really close to that.
Yeah, we've been talking about how this time of year, especially, as you get into the grind of January and February, we have to start playing complete games, and you can't, basketball's a game of runs. You understand that, but can we sustain for 36 minutes? And I think the last couple of days or the last couple of games, we've found that we're getting closer to that. I put 36 minutes on the pregame board, and then it's like at the end of the game, we kind of reflect on that and say, well, how many minutes did we really play consistent, good, fundamental, hard basketball? And I think we came up with about 29 to 30 minutes last night. So that means we got 6 or 7 minutes left to finish a game.
I'm curious. I've been on team buses, mostly college buses, I guess, through the years, and some coaches, view the video right on the bus after the game and do some evaluating and maybe bring some kids up and talk about certain things. Do you do that on the bus?
It's funny you should say that, because actually, we as coaches, we sit up at the front of the bus and we kind of, we talk about, what went well, what didn't go well, some things that we need to look at working on in practice the next time. And then I don't really watch a whole lot of film on the bus ride home, depending on the week. But, I'll walk back and check in on the girls a little bit and say, like Carly Hurst is all over the floor last night. So it's kind of like, yeah, how you feeling? And they're all watching it. They're watching the game as soon as it's over. So how cool for them to have they have their laptop and they've got their phone and they have access to that right on the way home. So sometimes I'll kind of like look over their shoulder and be like, all right, oh yeah, that's what the end of the game. You're kind of like, oh yeah, if we could have just, maybe taken a little bit more time on that one, or maybe if we would have given a little bit better pass on that one. And they're already doing it. So it's really cool for them to be able to do that. And it's also pretty rare for them to have that drive to say, I'm going to watch the game film on the way back instead of, rotting my brain on TikTok or Instagram.
I love that. I mean, what a great opportunity for the kids. And if you're into your game and want to improve, what better way than to watch what just happened and while it's fresh in your memory, and maybe there's a couple of possessions that you want to look at and say, what did I do there? Or why was that successful? Or why wasn't it,
Yeah, and especially, when we look at the Wilmer game and the Sartell game, we had, Wilmer, we were up 12 or maybe even 14 a couple of times in that game, and we never could really extend it. And then in Sartell, it was kind of the same situation. We were up 20-22, I think, at one point, and we kind of let them eat into that a little bit. And, all of a sudden that 14 or 12 point lead at the end of the game, you're kind of like, well, what happened? But you still are up by 12 or 14 points at the end of the game. So,
right.
But you got to kind of have to learn how to play with the lead, and we're trying to figure that out right now.
Well, let's look a little more at that game last night as long as we're there. Ruby Ellison had 21 for you, hit 5 threes, and you mentioned it before. When you get Ruby going early, it seems to work out better for the whole team.
Yeah, she's really come a long way. When you look at her as growing throughout the entire season, the player that she was at the beginning of the year to where she is now, and we talk about that consistent word, she's become really consistent. And not only shooting from the outside, she's just a really hard guard because how are you going to defend her? Are you going to fly out on the shot? Well, if you do that, she's going to rip by you and get to the rim. Oh, and by the way, she can catch it in the post and turn and hit a fadeaway jumper like she did last night. So she can score from all 3 levels, and that's pretty hard to defend in high school basketball. So for her to kind of be clicking on all 3 levels right now is pretty impressive. And
Hattie Fullhart, I mean, again, 9 points, 9 rebounds last night. That's Hattie, right?
That's
game in, game
the standard.
out.
That's her expectation of herself, and that's I think she has a little bit more expectation on herself as far as scoring goes, and she'll get there. Sometimes I think she thinks about it a little too much, but oh my gosh, when you're grabbing as many rebounds as you have points, and it's a good number. Man, that's impressive, and that's what she does night in and night out. It's every time you look at the stat sheet for her, that rebound number is always close to double digits, and it's just a testament to her work ethic and how hard she plays.
How about Reese Keel's advancement here? Last night, she was solid, 6 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Really has gained floor confidence, I think, out there at that point guard.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. I think we started to see a difference in her around the Christmas tournament. The Minnewaska game kind of stands out as a turning point for her as far as kind of taking command of the point guard spot. Maybe not helping us in the scoring category quite as much as we'd like. Last night, 6 is good. But really being that constant, I'm going to control the ball. I'm going to control the floor a little bit here, and I'm going to take care of it. And she's been doing that really, really well. And for us to be successful, that's what we need from her is that constant being able to handle the ball, being able to make good decisions, and get the ball in the right spots at the right time.
The other player, young player that's really stepped in and done a great job for you consistently on the boards is Elizabeth Clinert, and she's given you some points too, but last night she had 6 rebounds, and you've really gotten to a point, I think, where you can rely on her to do that for you.
Yeah, and it's so fun to watch because she'll rip a rebound and then she'll take a couple of really hard dribbles to get the ball out in space, and she really looks to push the tempo because she kind of has a guard mentality. But yet she's long and athletic and uses her frame really, really well to find the ball and go get it. And she's a high IQ basketball kid, so she puts herself in the right spots, and that's kind of what rebounding's all about. It's using all of those things together, and you have to kind of think your way into it too. So for her to give us 6 rebounds last night on the road, like that's huge, and it's a big impact to the game. And when kids think impacting the game, they think scoring.
Yeah.
And that's not the only way to impact the game. You can impact the game in so many different ways, and you can impact the game without impacting the stat line. But, when we look at rebounding, that's just a huge piece to the puzzle of basketball. And for her to be contributing that way is huge for our team.
Yeah, you rebounded them 40-29 last night, according to the stats I have.
Yep, that was close.
Okay. Yeah. And the one stat that has been interesting is assists. You haven't had a lot of assists this year on the average, but that number's improving. Are you seeing better ball movement out there and better shot selection?
Yeah, and some people maybe realize, especially, I think parents and fans sometimes notice how many sets we run. We run a lot of set plays, and that's, spacing, movement concepts, getting kids to do kind of the things that we want them to do. And when you go motion, then it's just kind of, it's a freestyle when you go motion, right? So we're just putting kids out there, and they're just going to go play basketball. So last night when we were kind of clicking early, I didn't call many sets, and our offense started to started to figure it out last night on just how to just go play. And the ball went into out a lot, whether that be a post entry pass into Hattie, or sometimes we put Ruby in the post, and the ball goes in to out. And when the ball's moving, whether it's the low post, the mid post, or the high post, when the ball goes into the paint, whether it's on the dribble or a post touch, and the ball comes back out, you get really good looks. And we're starting to knock down some shots. Our shooting percentage has gone up. And for us to get assisted baskets, you got to knock down those shots. And we're just finding a way to move the ball a little bit more, make that extra pass, and find an open girl and knock it down.
Well, you had two other girls in double digits last night. Carly Hurst, who you mentioned, being all over the floor. She had 12 points for you. And then Presley Warren scored 11. And there's another young gal that's really stepped up for you.
She had a great week this week. Coming off probably a tough week the week before. Back to last Saturday was a tough week. But you talk about some resilience and you talk about the game of basketball. And yeah, it's just a game, but you can learn so many great lessons. And that's what we're here to do, right? It's an extension of the classroom. And you think about, work hard and all those things, but you also think about adversity and resilience. And Presley really showed, last week she faced some adversity as far as how she was playing and stuff like that. And her response to that this week was outstanding. And your attitude and your effort and your energy, when you start to go in the positive direction, all the rest kind of falls into place. And I think she kind of figured that out this week. And her performance on Tuesday and on last night on Friday against Sartell was really it was really good for her to get rewarded for that kind of week that she had. So it was fun to see her attack because, man, she's athletic and she really bared down on the defensive side, which we haven't seen in a while. So it was great to see that defense kind of feed into the offense. But when she catches the ball on the perimeter and she's going to go to the rim, there's not a whole lot of people that can stop her. And then when she does get to the rim, she got to the free throw line a few times last night and knocked them down.
63-49 win over Sartell. That came on the heels of your win at Wilmer, a 62-58 win. You had a 4-point halftime lead, wound up by 4 at the end of the game. That's always a hard place to get out of with a win, isn't it?
Yeah, when we talk about road, being on the road, and that was our fourth game on the road. We had 3 on the road last week, and then we go down to Wilmer, and that one's kind of circled on the calendar, right? Every year, going down there, playing Wilmer. Us and Wilmer have battled out for like the 2-3 seeds the last couple of years behind Alec. And then this year we kind of were thinking like the 1-2 seed. And Little Falls might have something to say about that, which we'll figure that out as we go here. But it's kind of one of those friendly rivalries. Maybe it's not friendly, I don't know, but it's a rivalry, right? It's a conference section game. Somebody that we've seen 3 times in the last 2 years. So this was our 7th meeting. And then we'll see him for sure one more time. So we'll see him 8 times in the last 3 years with the playoffs and playing him twice. So when you play somebody that many times, you kind of get that rivalry feel to it. And going down on the road, it's a tough place to play. We were the front end of a doubleheader, so the crowd was good. And we kind of took care of business, felt comfortable kind of the whole game. But comfortable until you feel uncomfortable at the end. I think we were up 12 points or 11 points with about 4 to go. And then all of a sudden I look up and we're only up 2. And I'm kind of like, what just happened? And sometimes those leads go quick and you get a little too conservative as a coach. And you get a little too conservative as players. And sometimes you just got to let them keep playing. And I feel like that's maybe something that we got to learn.
You shot 28 threes that night, made 11 of them. So you shot 39% from 3. That's a good percentage. Why was the 3 so available that night, or what made you decide in your offense that we're going to take these shots?
Yeah, and they're a zone team, right? They want to play a 3-2 zone. Most of the time they'll switch it up and go into a 2-3 zone. And when you do that, yeah, it's hard to cover the arc, especially in all the spots. In a 3-2 zone, they cover the top part of the arc, but they leave the corners open. But we've seen enough zone to figure out that attacking it just like you would man. If you get the ball into the paint or into the lane, good things are going to happen on the outside, because that defense, no matter what you tell kids, when the ball goes inside, they turn and they collapse on it, right? So if Ruby Olson catches the ball in the high post, you're going to have at least 2 girls' attention on the ball and Ruby Olson. So you're playing 3-on-4 or 4-on-3. They're on the rest of the floor. So when you do that, you're going to find open shooters and you're going to find open shots. And I thought Grace Black did a really good job of attacking that zone. She caught the ball or got the ball down low a couple of times and kicked it to Ruby on the outside, and they knocked him down. And when shots are falling for Ruby, we just got to keep finding her. And she's been really fun to watch move off the ball to get herself open. So Ruby's been doing a really good job of getting free, and we've been doing a really good job of attacking and finding the open shooter.
Yeah, Ruby had 26 that night. And Grace, who you mentioned, 5 points, 4 rebounds, pair of assists. Elizabeth Clinert had 5 rebounds again. There you go. And Hattie, 10 points, 9 rebounds. So there you go. And Carly Hurst, 18. Good, solid night in Wilmer, and be able to hold on in that environment and come home with that win. That's a big conference win and section win. So
yeah, absolutely. And you talked about Carly Hurst. Man, she had a couple of really clutch plays. So did Ruby down the stretch. You know, we had the shot clock was winding down, and Ruby had the ball in her hands on the right wing, and she had a couple of defenders out on her, and she dribbled one dribble left, pulled up and knocked it down as the shot clock expired. There was another one that was really fun to watch on film, especially it was on the bus ride home. Carly was watching it. She had the ball right underneath the basket. Could have had a wide open layup, and she dribbled it out, and she let a 3 go, and she knocked it down like nothing but net. So a couple of clutch plays to kind of seal that one, which is always fun for the kids. And one thing I love too is last night we were watching film on the bus ride home, like you were talking about earlier, and to watch the bench. Like the girls on the bench, man, it's really funny because they come up with these fun little things to do, and we knock down a couple of shots, and they're all sitting down on the floor, and they're all rowing the boat, as you know, they look like they're a rowing team, and it's just so much fun because right now it's things are going really, really well. Our bench is giving a lot of great energy, and those girls are locked in and engaged in the game throughout the course of it, and that's what you need if you want to play a complete 36-minute game. You need everybody that's wearing a jersey to be on board and bring it. So that's been really fun to watch too.
Sticking with our enjoying the process theme today. That's been our theme this morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, kids are enjoying that. You know, I have to go back to Saturday for a minute here.
Yeah,
it was not your best day of the year in Bemidji, and it came on the heels of a win over Bemidji the week before here. So talk about that game at Bemidji last Saturday. What happened?
Yeah, you know, if I could bottle that up and throw it away, I probably would. You know, you talk about bottling up the good. Well, if we could bottle that up and never see it again, that would be great. But
throw it in Lake Bemidji.
Yeah, throw it at the bottom of Lake Bemidji. That was a lethargic Fergus Falls Otters girls basketball team. We didn't really look. You know, we started the game up. I think we were 9-2, and at that point, you know, you can't lose a game in the first 3 minutes. Or you can lose a game in the first 3 minutes. I don't know if you can win a game in the first 3 minutes, but either way you look at it, you got to play a complete game. And we started off hot, and then we kind of thought, well, we've been here before. They'll probably just roll over, so we can just kind of hit the cruise control button. And you can't do that against anybody, good, bad, or otherwise. And Bemidji's a good basketball team. So we go up 9-2. They make a run and they answer it, and we don't score for forever. But more disappointing than scoring was our defensive effort. Our defensive effort was, we looked like our feet were stuck in quicksand, and we weren't moving on the defensive side. We weren't rotating over. We weren't helping the helper. We weren't doing a lot of things. We weren't ball pressuring. We made it too easy and too comfortable for them. So it's fun to see the response, right? Because you have a game like that,
right?
And then you say, okay, we're going to go into this one, you know, like Bemidji. Pink is a lefty, one of their best players, and we took her out of the game at home. We made her a non-factor. On the road, she goes off for, I don't know how many, she had 20-some points. And so then you look at the next couple of games and you learn from it. So last night, maybe it's a bad example, but last night, number 3, Kennedy Lewis, one of their best players, lefty, and we held her, I think, to 3 first-half points, but then she scored 17 in the second half. But trying to figure out game plans and execute, you know, who's their best player on the floor, who's going to try to facilitate their offense here, and how are we going to take away what they want to do. So that was a lesson that we learned in Bemidji, because we kind of let Pink do what she wanted to, and she made us pay for it.
58-48, Bemidji got that one, but as Josh mentioned, the Otters rebounded well and picked up back-to-back wins to end the week against Wilmer and Sartell, their 2 conference games from this week. So Monday, Sauk Rapids, Thursday, DL, both at home.
Both at home. We finally get to play back at home, which is fun. We've had 5 on the road. Monday night is autograph night, so there shouldn't be anything going on. Well, I shouldn't say that because there's a ton of rescheduled events.
Yeah.
So maybe there is quite a bit now. But come on out to the Gold Gym and get an autograph signed by your favorite Otter Girls basketball players.
There we go.
And then Thursday night's Cancer Night against DL.
Okay.
So we got a lot of fun events, and all that money raised stays right here in Fergus Falls to the Cancer Center. So it should be a good week of basketball. I think the boys are doing their Cancer Night this week as well. So it's always money for a good cause. And you talk about giving back to the community, and the community gives so much to us. It's fun to have the girls do those things to give back to their community too.
A lot of families benefit from that Cancer Care and Research Center, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, Josh, thanks very much. Lots to cover this week.
It's fun, fast and furious. And you know what? When you said we only have 6 weeks left of the radio show, it's kind of like, man, it's going to go quick.
Yeah, then you get to sleep in on Saturday.
Yeah.
With 4 kids. All right, well, that'll do it for that interview, but we have one more. We're going to talk Hillcrest girls basketball next, so don't go away as our Coaches Show continues, presented by the Viking Cafe.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Just when you thought the deals were done, Minnesota Motor Company is keeping the savings rolling. They may have moved the vehicles back outside, but they've extended their indoor sales savings through the end of January. Shop in confidence and drive away in a great vehicle at a great price. Stop by the dealership or contact the sales team to learn more about the great deals.
Minnesota Motor.
South Pebble Lake Road, Fergus Falls.
Lake Region Healthcare knows what all coaches know. It takes tons of teamwork, great amounts of grit, and heaps of hustle to triumph. Lake Region Healthcare, supporting and celebrating our high school athletes.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls is proud to sponsor area athletics. Nelson Auto knows the value of a good team, and we'd like to invite you in to meet our team. See how our team takes care of you and your family. Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls.
Running Stitches Embroidery in Fergus Falls is West Central Minnesota's leader in high-quality screen printing and custom embroidery. Whether you're looking for a one-of-a-kind custom job or need to outfit the entire team, Running Stitches Embroidery will be there when you need them.
What's your number?
I drove 60 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota. I drove 45 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota.
Quality Toyota.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Welcome back to the show. Our final interview of the morning is Hillcrest girls basketball, and they're having some fun. I mean, the Comets are 15-1, haven't lost since opening night to a state-ranked team, by the way, but Hannah Clark is here to talk about it, and a couple of really impressive wins this week, 73-25 over Battle Lake, and then 73-49 at Hancock, which is not an easy place to win either, but it's been a weird week, Hannah. You just mentioned we were talking about the weather and how it's affecting things, and you haven't practiced with this team since Monday.
I know. We were just telling you, we on Wednesday, we took that day to kind of rest legs a little bit because we knew we had 3 games this week. So we just were in the locker room watching film, knowing like, we'll get a good practice in on Friday. And that practice was canceled because no school. Thursday, we were a little out of the ordinary. We canceled the JV game, moved up the start time to the varsity down in Hancock just to make sure that we got that game in and we got home before the real cold hit. So, a little bit of out of routine for our girls, but I think that's always good to give them something a little bit different and, add a couple challenges here and there for them, and they handled it really well.
Yeah, they did. So a couple of big wins there, conference wins for you. And that game against Battle Lake, you took charge early. What does that allow you guys to do as coaches when you get up like you did, 45-16? Do you change your strategy a little bit for the second half, or how do you approach that?
It allows us to try some things that, maybe we've been working on in practice and we haven't necessarily got a lot of game reps in, so that's really nice. We get to work in our bench a little bit more, give our starters a little bit more rest as well. But I just loved how our girls attacked that game on Tuesday. I thought they went really, really hard. Even when we did build a lead in that second half, I don't think we ever really let the gas up. We continued to be intense. We continued to work hard and do what we needed to do. So I was proud of them that way. I loved how we got out and just pushed in transition. And I just loved how we continue to share the ball. I think that was the game where on all but about 5 baskets, they were we had assists on those. And so that just shows how unselfish we are. But I just thought they came out with great energy, and it was a good win for us.
Yeah, 24 assists on 29 made baskets. You'll take that every time.
Yes. And, we went back and watched the film, and it was fun. We were really looking for our teammates. I don't think we forced a ton of shots, so it was a fun one for our team to really get everyone involved.
Elin Retzloff had 8 assists. I'm going to throw some of these out there because I love assists too. Ella Knudsen had 5 assists. Brooke Swedberg had 4 assists. So, yeah, a lot of different girls contributing there. And you mentioned getting more playing time maybe for some kids deeper on the bench too. And Paisley Peterson had 5 rebounds for you, 3 points. Annika Bjorndal had 4 points. So you love it when they get the opportunity to get the minutes to go out and do some things for you.
Yes, because you never know down the stretch, come tournament time, there's an injury or an illness or something happens, we need girls ready to step up. So being able to get them good quality minutes, minutes that aren't just right at the end of the game, I think are so important. Paisley Peterson is just such a great rebounder for us. She's got a nose for the ball. Offensively, defensively, she's really just able to go grab those, and she's got so much potential there. So anytime we can get her in the game and get her quality minutes, I think is only going to help us down the stretch.
And Emmy Berge had a great night for you. 9 points, 4 rebounds, 4 steals. Got to love that.
Yeah, and once she gets going, if she sees one go through the hoop, if she gets one steal, her motor just keeps on going, and she gets more excited and more confident. And then when she gets going, I feel like everyone rallies behind her. So she's sort of the engine on this team, and so we love to see her really get going.
And we hear about the Retzloffs and their big numbers, and they're just so consistent. And well, they do it all. I mean, can rebound, can assist, can score, can steal, can key your transition game, a lot of different things there. And they in that game combined for 36 points and 18 rebounds. But the thing that I haven't seen you play this year, but the thing that I read into here in the stats is how those 2 girls make you go a lot of nights on the offense, but there are so many other players who are around them that complement what they're doing. And I think of Avea Stender, who doesn't have the big numbers that jump out at you, but every day she's got like this game, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 12 points, 7 rebounds. Avea is one of those girls that maybe doesn't get the headline, but she's so critical to what you're doing.
She is, and she is so strong, and she moves her feet so well, and she finishes nice around the basket. And so if people are going to go help off on a drive or anything like that, Avea's there. She's calling for it, and she's ready to finish at the rim. I think one other thing, it's a little bit of a lost art these days, but she is so good on reversal, sealing her defender, getting the ball right under the hoop and going. And so I think she tends to surprise some teams with that, kind of old school post play. And she really enjoys that. She likes that. And so it's so fun to have her to be able to get involved too. I know in the Hancock game, they chose to really, look to double, triple Elsa and Elin. And so they weren't really guarding Brooke and Stella. And Brooke and Stella stepped up confidently, and I always joke, I'm like, Stella's not one that you want to not guard because she is so consistent from the 3-point line, and she's continually shooting more and more confident. I think she had 3 threes in that game, and I think 2 or 3 others were all but down. And so it's so fun when you can have those girls who are ready to shoot and don't even question it whether or not they should put the ball up. They've just been so confident. I know Brooke at one point attacked in Hancock, and she took it up against their 6'1" center and just kissed it off the glass. And so when you have those girls coming off the bench who can play with that confidence, it's such a nice compliment to the girls that we have start on the floor.
And that was going to be my follow-up to talking about how the Retzloffs just combined for such big numbers against Hancock. The Owls, like you just mentioned, keyed on them and took some things away. And then you had people like Stella with 11 points and Brooke with 6 points. And then Ella Knutson, you can't let Ella go because she can go off at any time. And she did it, 18 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, complete game there.
Yep.
So it's so fun to see when teams do find a way to slow you down in some areas.
Yep.
You got girls stepping up.
Yeah, and in that game too, I think Elsa maybe only had 8 points, but she had 8 assists.
Right.
And so that just shows that she didn't need to force it. She wasn't, worried about getting her shots up. She was also looking for her teammates. If she didn't have the shot, she was finding that open player, and she does such a good job with that. She doesn't care if she has 40 points or 0 points as long as the team wins,
right.
Which is so nice. And then I thought Ella did such a good job. She had a difficult task of slowing down Hancock's point guard and Taylor Nesvig. She's so good and so quick. We were without Emmy Berge, who was homesick that day. So we asked Ella to step up and do that, and she did such a phenomenal job. But to not only get it done on the defensive end, but come back and just be so strong and confident on the offensive end was huge for us too. And so to have her have that complete game at this time in the year, I hope she continues to see that and use that and grow upon that and continue that for the rest of the season.
Ella's one of those kids that you look at and you say, she's a triple-double waiting to happen. I mean, she can do every category.
She is, and she is so unselfish that we just continually have to say, Ella, shoot the ball. You can attack, And she's like, well, my teammates are open. And I'm like, that's great. But don't be afraid to put the ball up yourself. And that's just who she is. That's her character. Yep. We always want her to shoot more. But like you said, she's a triple-double waiting to happen. She's always right there. And she's just such a solid leader for our team. And when she's on the floor, everyone is at ease. Everyone knows that she's going to anchor the defense. She's going to make sure the ball is going where it needs to be on offense. And she's just so important to our team. So it's really fun to see her when she has a big game like that on Thursday.
Yeah, and Avea had a double-double that night. So there she is right in the mix again, 11 and 10. But rebounding-wise, as a team, where are you at right now? It seems like every time I get stats from you, the rebound numbers are like through the roof.
Yeah, we have been out-rebounding teams. I think Hancock was a little bit different, but the last couple of games we've been out-rebounding teams by 15, 20, which is huge. That's a key for us, not only on the defensive end, but if we can give ourselves some second-chance opportunities, that's going to be really important for our team. And we always say if we get offensive rebounds, we don't have to go down and play defense. So we continue to make that a focus for us, and we've been doing a good job.
15-1. You're on a 15-game winning streak, and you've got a tough assignment today. The Pelican Rapids girls are going to give you all you want.
Yes.
1:30 today. That's new start time, right, by the way. So 1:30 over at Hillcrest for the varsity game.
Yes. Yep.
So what do you do with Morgan Korf?
Try and slow her down as much as possible. She is such a dynamic player. She can score. She is quick. She's strong. She can distribute the ball. She's a phenomenal defender. And as much as good as they are on offense, I think they're even better on defense. Coach Korf has them so disciplined, so smart on the defensive end. So we are going to have to play smart. We are going to have to play disciplined on the offensive end and make sure that we're looking for the right shots. We're taking care of the ball, but it's not going to be an easy game for us. It'll be a good challenge for us. They've got a good team, and so I know our girls are looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's a good way to end the week.
Yes.
And start a busy stretch here too, right?
Yes.
There are no breaks anymore, Hannah.
No.
I mean, unless the weather says you're going to have a break.
Yes.
But this week you've got, you're at home 3 times. That's nice.
Yes.
Today and then Tuesday and Thursday, Brandon, Evansville, and Ashby. Talk about those two opponents. They both seem to be playing, they've had some good nights.
Yep. And I always say any team in our conference, you just don't want to catch them on a night where they're shooting well, where they're feeling really good, because all of these teams can be so good. And so we're going to have to play well. Luckily, we get them at home. I think we play confident when we're at home. But those are two teams that we are really going to have to come ready and come disciplined.
Well, there's no doubt your conference is stronger this year. I think every team has improved, really.
Yep. And everyone's just been playing so well, and we've got some great coaches in the conference. And so each night it's just a ton of fun to step out on the floor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, keep it rolling here. What a great season for your Lady Comets. And so much depending on health, of course, and
Yes.
you've been pretty healthy as a team, so
Yes.
knock on wood.
Yes.
I was looking for something to knock on.
Thank you very
Like
much.
that. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Hannah. Hannah Clark of the Hillcrest girls basketball team. And that's going to do it for our coaches show presented by the Viking Cafe. Congratulations to Katie Rund, who won our $25 gift certificate from the Viking. Thanks to Pat Scholl and everyone at the Viking for helping to bring this program to you every week. We have 6 weeks left. We'll be here next week from 8 to 9:30. And, of course, we are on News Talk 1250 KBRF and video streaming through the Fergus Now app and the KBRF YouTube channel.
Thank you for joining us for the News Talk 1250 KBRF Coaches Show, presented by the Viking Cafe and brought to you by the Minnesota Motor Company, Lake Region Healthcare,